confirmed number of coronavirus cases in Los Angeles County comes to 1,235,797. The confirmed number of deaths comes to 24,003. Here in Torrance, the total number of confirmed cases is 7,286, with total confirmed deaths at 213. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Leslie Robbins. It's 4 p.m. on Monday, May 10th. Los Angeles is making it that much easier to get a COVID-19 vaccine. Now, all city-operated sites are offering vaccinations without an appointment. While you can choose to make an appointment ahead of time by going online, LA City is adding the option to go without one at popular vaccination drive-thrus at sites like Dodger Stadium, Pierce College, Crenshaw Christian Center, Hanson Dam, Cal State LA, as well as USC, Century City, Lincoln Park, and San Fernando Park. In addition to administering vaccines at 10 permanent sites, the City of LA is also vaccinating residents through mobile clinics in neighborhoods most impacted by the pandemic. Now, those who need help signing up for the vaccine can call 833-540-0473 or visit coronavirus.lacity.org/vaxready. California public health officials are cautioning the public not to let their guard down despite COVID numbers steadily decreasing. Nearly 24 East Bay high school students in Northern California tested positive for COVID-19 recently, forcing more than 100 students to quarantine in an outbreak linked to a private gathering last month. The majority of the students are reportedly out of quarantine now, and none who tested positive for the virus had to be hospitalized. Health experts say California is not out of the woods just yet when it comes to this pandemic. Officials say to continue wearing masks, social distance, don't get together in crowds, especially indoors, and get the vaccine when eligible. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention updated its guidance, acknowledging that coronavirus still remains an airborne threat. The U.S. Public Health Agency updated its public guidance on how COVID-19 spreads through the air in tiny droplets and very small particles exhaled by others, and can be transmitted even at greater distances than 6 feet. The CDC's previous guidance said infections were acquired mainly through close contact from person to person, including people who are physically near one another, but did not specify that it was an airborne threat. The new guidance confirms that one way to get infected by the virus is by breathing in affected particles that land on your eyes, nose, or mouth. The CDC says people within 6 feet are more likely to get infected and would be uncommon to breathe in the virus from people who are far away. And the best way to prevent infections with this virus is with current agency recommendations, which is to wear face masks, social distance, wash hands often, and get that vaccine as soon as you can. This weekend's Vacs live pre-recorded concert at Inglewood's SoFi Stadium was a huge success. The event, which invited first responders and healthcare workers to be the stadium's first live guests, was actually filmed the week prior and broadcast on Saturday. The free concert was hosted by Global Citizen with the goal of raising funds to help more vaccines to places in need around the globe. Global Citizen announced during the concert that the amount raised will help get more than 26 million doses of a COVID-19 vaccine, as they raised more than $300 million thanks to several philanthropic and corporate commitments. Special guest appearances included President Joe Biden, Prince Harry, Jennifer Lopez, Selena Gomez, Her, Foo Fighters, Eddie Vedder, and J Balvin. Ben Affleck, Chrissy Teigen, Jimmy Kimmel, Sean Penn, and David Letterer also served as guest speakers. Vacs Live was one of the largest concert gatherings in Southern California since the coronavirus pandemic shut down the world more than a year ago. Media and production staff, along with all guests, were required to show a negative COVID-19 test or show proof of being fully vaccinated before entering the stadium. People experiencing homelessness can now apply online to receive permanent supportive housing. The new online portal called the Universal Housing Application launched this weekend and consolidates more than 15 separate applications into one and integrates multiple data systems, including the Homeless Management Information System and the Resource Management System. Previously, if someone wanted to get help, they would need to fill out multiple manual applications, and now it's streamlined all into one form. Officials say that about half of the mail-in applications were sent incomplete or with an issue, prompting a long back-and-forth process that could take more than a month. County officials say this new form will reduce the time it takes to get placed into permanent housing from 150 to 120 days. There's a tutorial online for the Universal Housing Application at lahsa.org. California Governor Gavin Newsom unveiled his historic economic recovery plan in a news conference this morning held in Fruitvale, Oakland. In the theme of California Roars Back, Newsom says his plan will bring the state back stronger than ever. The $100 billion economic recovery package includes a projected $75.7 billion budget surplus, a remarkable turnaround from where we were last year. The plan also includes an additional $26 billion from the federal government. Newsom touted a plan designed to offer immediate relief with a second round of $600 stimulus checks, along with the hopes of expanding it to include middle-class families, which would benefit 2 out of 3 state residents. Newsom called the California Comeback Plan the biggest economic recovery package in California's history. Direct tax rebate, the largest in U.S. history, will come out of the operating budget surplus if approved by the legislature. He also shared plans to propose $5 billion to double rent assistance to get 100% of back rent paid for those who have fallen behind, along with $2 billion in direct payments to help pay utility bills that are also overdue. Newsom plans to present his economic plan to lawmakers on Friday as they begin negotiations to meet the June 15th deadline to pass the budget. The extended deadline to file your taxes is just 1 week away. The 2020 federal income tax returns for individuals was extended from April 15th to May 17th. The Internal Revenue Service urges taxpayers to file as soon as possible, especially those who are owed refunds. Filing electronically with direct deposit is said to be the quickest way to get your refund. The new deadline applies to all individual tax filers and does not include trust, estates, corporations, and other non-corporate tax filers. In Los Angeles County, the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program offers free tax help to individuals and households who make $55,000 a year or less. Go to freetaxprepla.unitedwayla.org. President Joe Biden announced some big changes in healthcare protection for transgender people. The reversal in the policy introduced under former President Donald Trump in June of 2020 will bar healthcare providers and other health-related organizations who receive federal funding from discriminating based on someone's gender identity or sexual orientation. Human Health Services Secretary Javier Becerra said, quote, "Fear of discrimination can lead individuals to forgo care, which can have serious negative health consequences. It is the position of the Department of Health and Human Services that everyone, including the LGBTQ community, be able to access health care free from discrimination or interference. HHS said that 25% of LGBTQ people who have faced discrimination postponed or avoided receiving necessary medical care due to fear of further backlash. Well, the largest e-commerce retailer announced they're cracking down and have blocked more than 10 billion suspected phony listings just in the last year. The numbers were released in Amazon's first report on its anti-counterfeiting efforts since it announced new tools and technologies in 2019. The number of blocked phony listings last year was up nearly 70% from the year before. The Seattle-based company said the number of counterfeiters attempting to sell merchandise on the site increased as scammers tried to take advantage of shoppers who were buying more online during the pandemic. Counterfeiters try to get their products on Amazon through its third-party marketplace, where sellers can list their items directly on the site. The company destroyed 2 million counterfeit products sent to its warehouses last year before they could be sold. And it said fewer than 0.01% of all items bought on the site received counterfeit complaints from shoppers. Amazon says it spent more than $700 million last year on its anti-counterfeiting efforts and has 10,000 people working in that department. Well, getting mom that bouquet of flowers may have cost more than you remember. That's because of a nationwide flower shortage, driving up demand and the price ahead of the weekend. Florists warned that many popular flowers were not available, either due to a combination of disrupted worldwide shipping, and reduced supply. Now, according to vendors at the popular Los Angeles flower market, 24 roses ran anywhere from $30 to $60 depending on the variety, compared to pre-COVID prices, which ranged from $16 to $30. The pandemic has also led to flower shortages and shipment delays from South America, where they've experienced a cold stretch of weather. According to the Society of American Florists, 78% of roses and carnations come from Colombia. The U.S. Department of Agriculture said the U.S. is the largest importer of cut flowers in the world, and that the average retail price for bunch tulips sent prices up by 8% more than a year ago. Now, with prom and graduation still on the horizon, industry experts say to call and plan ahead to get the flowers you're looking for, and expect to pay a little bit more, at least until the pandemic is over. According to the National Retail Federation, American customers are expected to have spent on average about $220 on gifts and celebration planning this year. This Mother's Day weekend broke records as 1.7 million people were screened at security checkpoints across the country. This was the busiest day for air travel since March 2020. Industry experts say air travel has not returned to anywhere near the typical levels seen before COVID-19 brought flights to a standstill. According to the Transportation Security Administration, in April and May, airport crowds were down about 40% compared to the same period in 2019. Airline industry experts say a distinct uptick in bookings began around spring break holidays, which kicked off in mid-February to early April. Only about 200,000 went through TSA on last year's Mother's Day. Now on to El Camino College, where a legendary coach was in the spotlight once again. This past Friday, on what would have been Coach John Featherstone's 72nd birthday, his family, friends, former players, and ECC staff gathered inside Murdoch Stadium for a touching memorial. Coach Feather, as he was known, died on March 20th after a long battle with Alzheimer's disease. A local celebrity, Featherstone was hired as the Elko football coach in 1985. A hometown hero, Coach Feather was a multi-sport star right here at Miracosta, and then played football at ECC and San Diego State. After his playing days, Featherstone started his coaching career at San Diego State before moving on to Grossmont College, San Diego Mesa, Cal Berkeley, and Santa Ana College. Then in 1985, he returned to the South Bay, taking over at ECC. His resume is very long. He was inducted into the California Community College's Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame, the ECC Athletic Hall of Fame as a player and a coach, plus the California Beach Volleyball Association Hall of Fame as a teacher, tournament director, and referee. At the memorial, Featherstone's 2 brothers, 4 daughters, his widow Diane, plus former players and coaches all took a turn at the podium to remember Coach Feather. Gene Engel, Featherstone's longtime assistant, said in part, quote, "There was nobody better." In 2019, when ECC renamed the football field inside Murdoch Stadium Featherstone Field, I had the honor of sitting down with Coach Feather alongside Coach Engel on that very field. Here is some of that special conversation. Coach Engel, here we are at Murdoch Stadium. The field right in front of us is now going to be called Featherstone Field. Now tell me, how does that feel that you are so beloved in this community, the college, pretty much by everyone nearby?
Well, you know what? I've been very lucky, and we've been together. And
31 years, right, John?
30.
Coach, 31 years together. Like brothers, yeah, right?
Yeah.
31 years together. We made a lot of memories in this place. It looked a little
have.
different when we made the memories. It was the old Murdoch Stadium.
You have many accolades. Now, I'm just going to run down some of the awards and accomplishments that you've gathered throughout your years. A national championship here in 1987, a state championship in 2006, 11 conference championships, and you appeared in 19 bowl games. Tell me, Coach, what is the secret sauce that gets your players in all of those games?
You want to know? I just love the game. Every time I come in, when everybody starts coming in, I just get excited about the game. There's nothing like the game.
What do you love about the game? Break it down for me.
Well, as a man, I like I like hitting guys.
The physicality of the game, right?
What are some of the life lessons you think you instilled in your athletes?
Well, this game of football, you got to be a man.
Johnny spent a lot of time talking to the team throughout the season, throughout the week, special times together. Thursday night, we would spend an hour, almost an hour in the locker room talking to him about the game, but talking to him about life, becoming better men, better husbands, better fathers. And that's the bigger picture. It wasn't just winning games, as important that was, but to mature and become a productive member of society, you know, a loving husband and father, and be responsible and community leader. He instilled a lot of that into the players as he talked to them on a weekly basis. It was a constant message.
I think that's what sports is all about, the life lessons, just as much as the game, but the life lessons and what the athlete can carry with them after their career in sports.
You're right, absolutely.
Practice was always high energy,
Yeah.
so even though they were long sometimes, John kept things moving, and he just had all this energy, just like the Energizer Bunny, and it got everybody else's energy up, even when you were dragging. He had a way of firing people up. You know, I think of the scene of Mel Gibson at Braveheart, right? When he was going back and forth in front of the troops, because they didn't want to fight, and then they charged and won the battle. That was John. He could do that. He could lead the troops into battle, and they would he would get them so fired up they would follow him anyway.
I'm fired up right now. That's all I need.
We are fired up right now. Are you fired up right now?
Right now.
Well, I have an idea. I say we use that fire. Let's go throw some footballs. Show me what you know.
Okay.
You got it?
Right now?
You still got it, Johnny?
Right now.
I'm ready.
Ready to go. All right, let's go.
I'm with you.
So, Coach, here we are on the field, soon to be named after you. I have a ball. Pretend I'm your receiver.
Okay.
Okay.
Like this. Okay. You ready?
Ready.
Okay, fans. Here we go. I see him way up there. Okay, now remember, yeah, take a look on your eyes. Come on. Okay, yeah. Look at that. Hey! Hey! Here you go. You ready?
Ready. Tell me what to do.
Do it again. Yes! There it is.
That was
What a great tribute and memory of Coach Featherstone. Well, speaking of memories, the city of Torrance is gearing up to celebrate a big milestone this month, and Christine Lee meets with local historians to get the inside scoop.
Hi, I'm Christine with Torrance Citi CABLE. You may remember that our city celebrated its centennial back in 2012. Well, today I want to tell you the story of the 100th anniversary of the city's incorporation.
The incorporation is special because the city was privately held from 1912 to 1921. In 1921, the population was a whopping 1,800, so the powers that be are like, maybe we should incorporate.
Lifelong Torrance resident Debbie Hayes walks me through the significance of what happened a century ago.
So upon incorporation, the city then became managed by a vote of the people. We had to establish a city council, our own form of government. We established our official police department, Parks and Rec, Public Works. We had to make the city a city and figure out how to manage it.
Janet Payne oversees the Torrance Historical Society and Museum. Her research sheds more light on what led to the city's incorporation.
Los Angeles was annexing everything. A clear example of Los Angeles annexations is the port, the strip of land that's called Harbor Gateway, which is very appropriate. They made that so they were connected to the port and got all the revenue. We discovered oil also right about this time. That was a major thing to happen. Major, major, major.
Payne also says the process of getting Torrance incorporated was not an easy task.
We had to file with the Board of Supervisors in Los Angeles to put a notice of time and hearing on a petition to have an election. Then we had to have the election. There were lots of issues over that election. 355 people voted yes and 11 voted no.
The vote was taking place on May 12, 1921. Exactly 7 months later to the day, it was in the official books of Los Angeles County on December 12, 1921.
Unfortunately, our city's founder, Jared Sidney Torrance, did not get to witness the incorporation.
Mr. Torrance died in March while all this was going on. I think he probably would have been very happy that they incorporated so they could become the city that we are today.
Over the past 100 years, Torrance has grown tremendously and is unrecognizable from when its journey began as a newly incorporated city.
We have almost 150,000 people in Torrance now. And starting from 1921, the city really started to embrace Jared Sidney Torrance's vision of a place where people can and want to live, work, and play. And over time, we've established 33 parks. We have one of the #1 farmers market in Los Angeles. We have the top hospitals across the U.S., 2 right here in Torrance. We have preserved the marsh. We have one of the largest malls in Southern California. We support the arts. We have our own 1.5 mile of beach, and we've really become a destination.
Hayes says COVID-19 has led more Torrance residents to discover parts of the city that they've never been to before, and both she and Payne hope they'll continue to stay curious about the city that they call home.
I want them to get out and explore and see that all these, 100 years ago, we had people that are worked so hard to make things happen, to make it good for the businesses, the residents, and to make it a place people want to be.
Why is that street named what it is? There's a reason. You just look around and there's so much to explore. So I think people will have an appreciation of how our city was founded and shaped, and maybe take an interest in shaping its future.
I'm Christine Lee with Torrance Citi Cable.
Thanks, Christine. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community. Pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. National Nurses Week continues this week, and there was no shortage of appreciation at our local hospitals. Torrance Memorial and Providence Little Company of Mary both shared their appreciation for their healthcare workers who continue to work through the pandemic and have sacrificed so much of themselves physically and mentally. National Nurses Week ends on Wednesday, May 12th, which marks Florence Nightingale's birthday. Now, if you have a great story, upcoming event, a photo or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. Be sure to join us tomorrow as Rhiannon Trutanich brings you the latest. Please be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in.